Good morning, peeps. Welcome to another edition to Margerati Style Live, and I am Margaret Elizabeth. Today is Valentine's Day, and outside we have a foot of snow here in Washington, and I am excited to be snowed in so that I can work on this fun show, Valentine's show, with you guys. Now, this episode is really dedicated to the singles out there. You know, during this entire the lockdown, it has been so isolating for singles. When people say go home and isolate with your family and you live alone, I think that's a little terrifying. So I really want to put this episode, dedicate this episode to all those singles out there who have had to endure the pandemic alone and as a single. And hopefully you weren't totally alone. Hopefully you've been able to make connections with other singles. But what I want to do today is to really help singles to feel a little more empowered with some more knowledge about comparing how to get themselves out there. Hopefully the pandemic is on is winding down, and hopefully we can get out there and meet with people in person. And so people are considering, you know, how am I going to get myself out there after the pandemic? So if you're one of these singles and you're wondering, should I start on some dating apps, or should I, you know, contact a matchmaker? This is the episode for you. I'm going to be comparing 5 different dating apps, and I'm also going to be interviewing a matchmaker. So let's get started. Oh, and if you like this show, please subscribe below to Margerati Style Live. This is a place where you can build your brand and get clarity on who you are, your intentions, your visions. I consult with people one-on-one on developing a personal brand. I've also consulted with singles, helping them to create profiles and to really be their best self. So let's get started here. The dating apps today that I'm going to be talking about is Tinder and Bumble, Hinge, Millionaire Matchmaker, and The League. Now, there's dozens and dozens of dating apps out there and lots of choices. But the thing is I can only talk from my own personal experience. There's only so much time in the day, and these dating apps, frankly, take a lot of time. So let's start first with Tinder. Now, I have to admit, I've never been on Tinder. And I put it up here just because this was my first introduction to dating apps. And I've heard nothing but people tell me in the beginning, when I even heard about dating apps, that this one was all about hookups. So actually, I intentionally avoided Tinder. And, you know, I don't have a profile on Tinder. What I have heard from my friends is it's changed a lot. I've heard that Tinder now is a dating app where you can meet somebody, and it just seems to be more similar to the other apps out there, and it's not just for hookups. So that's kind of the update on Tinder. I do feel like it was one of the most recognized. So Tinder, I also want to give you guys an idea of what it costs, you know. So most of these apps are all free, except with exceptions of the last 2 here. So let me talk a little bit about all these free apps, and actually there's a lot of upgrades. So if you wanted to get on Tinder, you can choose their Paid Plus or Gold program, and that's going to run you $10 to $20 a month. And so that's kind of what I know about Tinder. Next up is Bumble. Now, Bumble is the very first app that I got on, and I have to tell you that I thought it was really fun and really engaging, easy to use. I met a lot of interesting people on Bumble, and I really liked that it was founded by some females who really put the woman in the first area of control. She gets to choose who she contacts and who contacts her. So she's not bombarded with a bunch of unsolicited advancements. So I thought that was a really good idea, and I really give a lot of credit to these ladies who developed this app. It's pretty fantastic idea of empowering women. So Bumble is free, but they do have boosts that cost you $3 to $9 for different boosts. They also have a really cool program just to meet people as business connections or just best friends. So I thought that was really lovely for people to be able to connect on all levels. So great idea there. But after a while, I started to feel like I kind of wanted to try another app. I wasn't making the connection I wanted to make, so I moved over and started on to Hinge. Now, Hinge is, I have to say, one of the better apps out there, I feel. I haven't tried them all, but I have had great responses from my friends that they've had good luck on Hinge as well. So I've been on met quite a few people on Hinge, and had some actually pretty good successes as well, making connections. Now Hinge is going to, for their more premium program, will cost you $39 to $59 for a 6-month membership. So there's free, and then there's more of the paid version. I haven't gone to the paid version. I felt that the free was working fine for me. So you can meet people without having to pay for one of these programs. It's just, I think you might make better connections, I assume, if you had the paid program. Next up is, I thought, well, I really wanted to meet people who were maybe more professional. So I started looking into what are the professional matchmaking services that are just dating apps. So I have over here, I've got Millionaire Matchmaker. So Millionaire Matchmaker is a dating app where they match people and it lets you know what their income is. And I thought that might be a good idea. However, this app's challenge is, not only is it expensive, so it's $169 for a 3-month membership. The challenge with this one is people, there's not a lot of local people out here in the Seattle area. You have people from all across the country contacting you. So that is kind of a challenge if you're looking for someone local. Last up here, we have the League. Now, the League is a members only. You have to be invited into it. It's an invitation only. How this one works is it's $99 a month, but you can pay up to $1,000 a month for their 3-month membership. So anywhere from $99 to $1,000. And also there is a wait list. You have to apply and you have to be accepted. Now, I got accepted, so I was pretty excited about that. I heard not everybody gets accepted. I have some friends who've tried to get in and they haven't. So the League sounds like a really cool idea. But yet again, similar problem. People are from all across the country, and it's difficult to find local people. And the amount of singles on this app I found to be pretty small in my area. So there lies the challenge of some of these paid programs, is they're not finding you people who are in your area and giving you enough options locally. So anyway, so I hope that helps. I want to talk a little bit about some of these challenges. So as you can see, there's a ton of apps out there. One of the challenges that I find with online dating is you have to evaluate someone based on their image. And to me, that is not the best way to go about finding a life partner. So if you're looking for a serious relationship and you're looking for love, it's very challenging to find that person simply on an app. You are evaluating based on a photo in a split second of one photo of someone, which may not even look like them. I find that men are not the best at putting together their profiles. They tend to look better in real life than they do on the app photo, which is all the more reasons why men should hire a branding expert to help them with their personal brand, their profile, a better photo, really to help position them in the marketplace. Because you are your brand, and that's one thing I really hone in when I consult with people. So the other thing is trying to find quality people. Qualifying someone to make sure that their goals are matching up with yours. If they just want to hook up and you're looking for a relationship, that is not a match. And sometimes it takes a long time and many exchange text messages to get to that point of determining this. So the next thing is the time sink. Oh my goodness, I cannot stress enough about how challenging this you know, these dating apps are when it sucks your time. It's almost like a part-time job. You will be texting people, and some people just want to continue this text relationship and never actually ask you in a real date, which can be so frustrating. So now the next thing is weeding out the people that are not serious. So many people say they want a relationship, but then, you know, you get into meeting with them a few times, you come to realize that they're really not serious, so they're really not sure what they're looking for. And this can be a frustration too, because you've already invested weeks into texting someone, or possibly months, just to find out that they're really not where you're at and ready for a relationship. And so the last thing is really having to put yourself out there. Now, there's nothing more difficult and vulnerable than to putting yourself out there. And I know some professional people that just don't want to be on dating apps. They don't want to feel like everybody knows, you know, what their business is and what they're doing, and that they're out there. And it can be scary, you know, for the first time, just putting yourself out there. So many people turn to private matchmaking services. In fact, I was matched up on a blind date with someone, and I had a great, you know, relationship that spurred from this matchmaker experience. So I think that matchmaking can be a great alternative as well. And it is something that is not for everybody. It's quite expensive, but I really think that you should explore this as one of your options. So I have today with me, I'm very honored to say, an actual matchmaker. So I'm going to be kind of helping you guys see what is it like to work with a matchmaker. And now this is a woman who is not only, is she my roommate and snowed in with me today, and she is also someone who had built a beautiful matchmaking service. So she's a former matchmaker. She has connected many couples and helped people find love. And I'm very proud of her and her accomplishments. So please let me introduce you to Peggy Bennett from formerly Straight from the Heart. Welcome, Peggy.
Thank you very much for having me. Roomie.
I know, roomie. So this is my roomie. We're snowed in together today, so this is just so much fun. But I would have had Peggy on anyways, because she is such an amazing woman. Peggy has just been a superstar, and I know she's a romantic at heart, and she loved connecting people, and this was something she was very passionate about. So Peggy, I'm hoping that you can share with us some insights on what it was like to be a matchmaker. Can you tell me about the process?
Sure, absolutely. It's the style I did was a traditional type of matchmaking, and that's the most common. So I'll speak to that because that's what Straight to the Heart was. So it's where the males, the bachelors, are your client, and they sign up roughly to about a year contract, and they're matched twice a month with gals. And the women are, they don't pay as much because they go into a database, and they may or may not get set up on a date. The dates are all organized by, I had a concierge team that organized the dates. So the bachelors, all they had to do was just show up and be their best selves.
Oh, that's great.
The work was taken care of.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Behind the scenes.
I bet that they really loved that.
Oh, they did, definitely.
So what was what's the demographic of an average person who wants to hire a matchmaker? What are these men typically like?
They're professionals, executives. Believe it or not, I had all age ranges. I had some in their late 20s who really wanted family, marriage and family, all the way up to seniors, believe it or not. But they're mostly executives, men who just didn't have the time and wanted professional guidance through this dating world we live in. Yeah.
That I can imagine that is such a relief. I mean, do some people come to you after doing the online dating apps?
Yes.
And then want to have just a quicker connection because they're too busy? Or?
Absolutely. Or some actually avoid the dating apps altogether because they want to be confidential.
Right. And confidentiality, I find, is a big, big deal. And especially some of these executives, professional people, they don't want to, like I said, everybody to know their business. They don't want people to know that they're out there looking for someone, and they want to keep their private life private. So
absolutely.
Let's see. So tell me a little bit about when you have to interview someone. What is that interview process like?
So we sit down one-on-one now. I ended my company prior to COVID, so I'm sure a lot of matchmakers now are doing it via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was doing it, it was in person, one-on-one, and I would myself be the one to interview the clients. And it's extensive. It can take an hour to an hour and a half because I want to know all about them. And I ask a lot of questions that necessarily you don't find out through the apps.
Oh, right, right. So like, what would be one of those questions?
Have described to me 3 adjectives that your best friends would tell you about your personality.
Oh,
or what is
nice.
your
Yeah.
relationship like with your parents?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very telling. I have to tell you, definitely when somebody, is really connected with their family, that's a great sign. So,
Right.
So yeah, I love that. I love that they've been vetted first. So I think that's so cool. So, and now what is the feedback process? So you connect 2 people on a date, then what is the, do they get to see what the other person looks like before the date?
With my company, I know some companies vary, but with my company, they were a blind date. So it made it really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like being set on a blind date.
Right.
That's fun.
And the feedback would be following the date, following the date, they would both give feedback as far as what went right, what went wrong. And from that, we would gauge whether they would have a second date or not. If it was both a thumbs up, then they would have a second date, and they would do that without the matchmaker's help. The bachelor would just contact the bachelorette and go on a second date.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. That sounds like so much fun. So, what was it like when you were able to make a match? I mean, how did that feel when you were able to find people love?
Oh my gosh, it was great. The reason why I went into matchmaking is I set 3 couples up and they ended up getting married. So that's why I went into my business in the first place. And that's how good of a feeling it feels like.
Oh, yes. That's fabulous.
Right, yeah.
I love that. I just recently connected to people who would never consider being on dating apps. You know who I'm talking about.
Right.
And I just feel so excited. I feel like a little Cupid, and I feel so, happy that I've been able to make a love connection. So, I just think that there is probably a lot of joy in being a matchmaker. I can imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. So tell me a little bit about the price, because, this isn't for everybody. It's very expensive. So you have to be someone who can afford this type of service. So what would someone be looking at if they wanted to hire someone such as yourself?
Sure. They completely vary depending on the agency and what state you live in. But for bachelors, generally speaking, it starts at $5,000.
$5,000 up to?
It just goes up, yeah.
Or more, okay.
Or more, yeah.
So, and that would be for a year?
That would be for a year.
Agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a true investment.
Yes.
For the females, some agencies, they're free, or it can be up to $250 a year. Okay. And again, it's a lot lower because they may not be guaranteed to be a match for the bachelor. They just go into a database. Okay. So the money they spend is basically the time of it takes to do the interview.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the men are typically the clients,
yes.
And then the women sometimes pay a small fee to be on that database,
right? And
then they get to might have dates or may not. There's no guarantee for the women.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, men are leading in this arena. Yeah. But I think that it sounds like it can work. I think that a lot of times professionals are looking for professionals, and sometimes I think these matchmaking services could be a great key to that for people. So, and maybe really help people. So, so what was your favorite part of your job, Peggy?
Gosh, I think I'm such a people person, so it was actually sitting down one-on-one and having the interview process. And then what we were talking about prior is just knowing when you have made that connection. There's nothing more satisfying than that. So it was a little of both, the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Peggy, well, that is so cool. Is there anything else you want to share with people if they're considering doing this? What other things do you think they should know before hiring a matchmaker?
I think what we went over is great questions to ask a matchmaker. For instance, what the costs are. There's some contracts that are 6 months, some that are a year, some that are even 18 months. So you want to find out that in your own city. There's different matchmakers, and talk to a couple of them in your city just to compare, because everybody runs their business a little different.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Now, what if you meet someone right away? So what happens if you make a connection right off the bat in the first month? What do you do with the rest of that agreement?
Well, there's been bachelors that have actually tipped the matchmaker.
Oh my goodness.
And given them a bonus.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes.
For you.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're so thrilled.
So they're thrilled.
Yeah.
Okay. So usually if someone makes a match, though, there's no refund or anything like that if they make a match to right up. Because I think some people are wondering, like, what do I do with this membership if I make a match right off the bat?
Right. No, there's no refund. No,
There's no
like I say, that
they're usually thinking, I want to give you more money. Okay.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. Well, very cool. Thank you so much, Peggy,
thank
for
you.
helping us to understand a little bit more about matchmaking and kind of pulling back the curtains on what would this be like if I wanted to hire someone such as yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so very much
Thanks for having me.
being on the show. Okay, you guys. So again, thank you for joining Margerati Style Live. This is a place where you can help to build your personal brand. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a local Seattle area event for singles. So this is my big announcement for Valentine's Day for all my peeps out there. I want to let you guys know that I am going to be facilitating a fun event where you can meet in real life, you guys. There's nothing more important than really being able to have that opportunity to meet with people in real life so that you know if there's some chemistry, if there's a connection. And I think sometimes it's very difficult with these dating apps to know if you have a chemistry. And sometimes it's a very slow process going date by date by date. So I thought if I could put together a fun, this spring I plan to put together this fun event for singles. So if you want to get on my mailing list to find out about this, please send me an email. You can go to margeratistyle.com and or you can put a post below and let me know you're interested. I would be happy to put you on my list and notify you when I have my in real life event happening in Seattle for singles. So anyways, again, you guys, happy Valentine's Day. I hope that you're not snowed in. I hope that you have a great day and find something lovely to do. If you don't have a partner today, then you know what I mean? Go on a date with yourself. Do something really fantastic for yourself, because finding someone really comes down to also self-love. You need to love yourself. So do something special for yourself today. And I will see you guys next time on Margerati Style Live. Bye-bye now.